So much to debate tonight, from the rise in crime to accusations of mask hypocrisy by Democratic leaders. So let's get right to our Bream Team panel. Fox News contributor Richard Fowler, the author of Beaten Black and Blue, Being a Black Cop in An America Under Siege, Brandon Tatum, and the author of How Trump is Making Black America Great Again, Horace Cooper. Welcome back to all of you.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Good to be here, Shannon.
Okay, so let's start with the crime issue. The Washington Examiner has an opinion piece talking about Congresswoman Cori Bush, saying she spent $70,000 of her campaign money on private security, even while publicly campaigning to defund the police. Bush represents one of the three most dangerous cities in the country in 2020. Her constituents clearly need the police a lot more than Bush does, yet Bush's constituents do not have the privilege and wealth to protect themselves with a security team. Brandon, what do you make of that conversation?
Shannon, I wish that they would use that same energy they used against President Trump and saying that he incited violence on January the 6th. Cori Bush is inciting violence for police officers to be murdered. And if you go back and look at her constituency, you look in her district, how many black people were shot unarmed? The last time a black person was shot unarmed was in 2020, and before that was 2015. So what black and brown bodies are she out protecting? She can be protected by by private security upwards of $100,000 or more. She don't care about the people she served. They are getting slaughtered by other individuals in the community that are committing violence, and police are not there to support them. She should be ashamed of herself, and I wish that she could be held accountable.
Okay, so just to be clear, when you say she's actually inciting violence against officers, what are you pointing to?
When you're talking about defunding the police, when you spew rhetoric hating the police and claiming that they're killing black and brown people on a day-to-day basis as if they were the Klan, you are inciting this emotion inside of young people that makes them more violent. When you get pulled over on a traffic stop, if you're thinking that the person behind you is the white devil that's trying to take out your race of people, you're going to be more violent, you're going to be more resistant, and you can see as the rhetoric continues, police officers are getting hurt on a day-to-day basis.
Okay, I want to read something from former Secretary of State Pompeo in an op-ed. He said this: for over a year now, criminals have been told by the left that if they commit crimes, they would not be punished. And they've been telling the police that if they do their jobs and enforce the law, they will be punished. If we're going to fix the problem, we need to empower competent professional policing, not discourage it. Richard?
It's good to be here, Shannon. But I think what the former Secretary of State was doing there is what I would call a glittery generalization of what the problem actually is. Here's what we know. We know that when African Americans are pulled over by the police, oftentimes that encounter is met by fear by the African American who's being pulled over. With that being said, a recent Gallup poll found that when it comes to how black people feel about policing in their community, they're okay with the current level of policing, but what the problem that they have has to do with the fact that in encounters with the police, they don't feel respected, they don't feel acknowledged, and they don't feel like they're treated fairly. Now, on top of that problem, you have an illegal gun problem like the story that we just talked about from Matt Finn. And the third, and I think the most important thing here is when you think about policing in this country, there are calls that police don't want to go on, and there are calls that they're better professionals, better apt to deal with those calls, like drug overdoses, domestic violence assaults. And so when we think about reimagining the police, it's about making sure we have the right people going to the right calls and making sure we're saving lives that way. And I think that's what that's what cities have to be doing now when they have these conversations about reimagining policing and what changing police policy actually looks like.
Let's put up just a little snapshot of what happened in Chicago this weekend, along with those police officers, one killed, one clinging to life. 86 shooting victims, 54 shooting incidents, and 13 murders. That's one weekend, Horace. Why is there not more anger at Mayor Lightfoot and getting things under control there? I mean, she said some very important things, like the police are our friends, we've got to protect them and take care of them. The police there saying, essentially, the head of the union saying, too little, too late.
Here's the problem. Even when we see the devastation that is happening in these communities, we're seeing blacks, whites, and browns literally being mowed down by a criminal element. We continue to hear talk about the need to reimagine police. Here's what I say. Let's get the crime element under control. Then we can have a conversation about what to do about drug overdose or some of the other issues that may be more complicated. While we've been talking about reimagining, we've done exactly what Secretary Pompeo has talked about. We've sent the message, it's okay It is a killing season, and there will be no consequences unless you're wearing a blue uniform. That is exactly the wrong message. It's dangerous. Mayor Lightfoot, Cori Bush, too many people on the left side have been promoting, and blacks, whites, and browns have suffered in the wake.
I want to get a quick response from all of you about the masking issues, about President Obama's birthday party, about Congresswoman Tlaib and others who have been spotlighted, and also Dr. Anthony Fauci this weekend pointing the finger at the Sturgis biker rally. The Washington Examiner says this. He was quick to condemn the Sturgis rally, but he had nothing to say about former President Barack Obama's lavish 60th birthday party at Martha's Vineyard the same day, nor of the Lollapalooza or Rolling Loud music festivals that occurred at the end of July. COVID is either a serious issue or it is not. The magnitude of its threat should not be predicated on the political ideologies of the attendees of certain events. I want to go around the horn quickly so you can all get a comment in here. Horace, we'll start with you.
Apparently, exactly 0 people died in 2020 at the Sturgis Super Spreader event. And so after that experience, we think now we need to be even more concerned than we were then. The hypocrisy here of identifying American behavior like Sturgis as something we condemn, but elite behavior like Lollapalooza or the president's 60th birthday, that's something that passes without any concern. That's not a message that's helpful in this pandemic.
Richard?
Well, look, I think I will condemn Lollapalooza. I'll condemn Sturgis. And the reason why I'll condemn them is because in these cases, individuals were unmasked and we weren't sure if they were vaccinated or not. The distinction with the Barack Obama birthday party was you had to have a vaccine to go.
Well,
what's happening in the District of Columbia, where I live currently.
Allegedly.
But according, I mean, the invitation clearly required you to have a vaccine to go. And in the District of Columbia, what gyms are saying, what a lot of gyms are saying here is if you are vaccinated, you can come to our gym and work out and not have to wear a mask. But if you are unvaccinated, you cannot come to our gym. And this is the right of every public business to say, based upon what we know and how this virus spreads, we understand that the best tool to prevent against COVID-19 is a vaccine. Second to the vaccine is actually wearing a mask if you're not vaccinated. So if you catch you can't catch the variant, nor can you spread the variant. And so you can't have your cake and eat it too here.
Let's give Brandon final word.
Well, I think it sounds cute when you say that as a talking point, but in general, if you're vaccinated, you can still pass on the virus to other people. People do not care what Barack Obama does because he's an elite. Nobody knows if they were really checking if people were vaccinated. It doesn't matter. They were kissing and hugging and having a good time, which I have no problem with. But don't sit up there and have a good time and enjoy your life on Martha's Vineyard when you're supposed to be oppressed, and then try to tell the rest of the country that they got to shut their businesses down. This is hypocrisy. This is not America.
Nobody's saying that you shut your businesses down.
Decisions. We're free to make our own decisions.
Fauci did say it.
Like being free and go to another country.
I'm saying that we should make sure that we're masking people that aren't getting vaccinated.
Okay. We got to leave it there. But thank you all for weighing in. It's great to have all of you with us tonight. Come back soon.
Thanks, Shannon.
Thanks, guys.